The city of Madrid is gearing up for World Youth Day as banners go up and all the electronics and the jumbotrons up and down the avenues as the first trickle of hundreds of thousands of young Catholics come pouring in. That's up next on Catholic News Roundup.
Hello everyone and welcome to this edition of Catholic News Roundup. I'm Matthew McAuliffe. The crew from RealCatholicTV.com is in Madrid with our own Michael Voris, where pilgrims will soon pack the streets to take part in World Youth Day. As you can see, Michael is with us now from Madrid with the latest on preparations. Michael, what is the weather like as they put the finishing touches in place for World Youth Day?
I'm Matthew from Madrid. Well, it's been scorching hot here the first couple of days. Thermometers are nearing the 100-degree Fahrenheit mark, which here in Spain is 37 degrees Celsius. But so far, anyway, it hasn't caused any noticeable problems as the final plans are being put into place. What may not be clear to folks who haven't attended a World Youth Day before is the massive on-the-ground planning that goes on for months in advance. Banners and posters and the like are going up, and it's only the finishing touches on months and months of planning on the part of the host city as well as the World Youth Day Committee. Up and down the street, big giant jumbotrons are being put up in place so that the overflow crowd can see and hear all of the activities happening right here in City Center. Thousands of volunteers, hundreds of thousands of man-hours, all come to a head this week. On the spiritual side, our Holy Father has dedicated and entrusted this year's World Youth Day to the Sacred Heart of Jesus. The words used in making the official dedication to the Sacred Heart were, in part, as follows. Man's heart needs a heart at his same level, a heart that can enter into history, and on the other hand, an all-powerful heart that can take him out of his limitations and sins. We can say that in Jesus Christ, God has met mankind and has loved us with a human heart. Indeed, a fantastic reflection from the Holy Father with which to begin this World Youth Day. With all the last-minute construction crews and builders and banner and hangings and everything, all of that type of activity, it might be a little difficult to reflect on the Sacred Heart of Jesus at this moment for some of the pilgrims as they come dragging into the city center here. But once they get settled down, Pope Benedict will most certainly turn their thoughts to the real reason they're here.
Mike, I understand that there are some uninvited guests to World Youth Day in the form of protesters. Can you tell us a little about their plans, and do you plan on covering it?
As you know, Matt, Spain has become a very secularized country. The faith is hanging on by little more than a thread in some regions. In fact, a group of self-described free thinkers and atheists is planning a protest later this week here in City Center. No telling how that will turn out, but we do plan on covering it.
Well, let's hope these protests don't dampen the spirits of all the young people attending. Looks like it's going to be a really exciting time, and you and the crew have your work cut out for you. Thanks for the great report.
No problem, Matt. Back to you in the studio. God bless.
Thanks, Mike. Look forward to seeing you again tomorrow from Madrid with all the latest. And remember to stay with us all this week and next for team coverage in Madrid with the crew from RealCatholicTV.com as they bring us the latest from World Youth Day. We'll be back in just a few seconds with other news.
Catholic News Roundup is brought to you in part by NewOxfordReview.org, the voice of Catholic Orthodoxy, in print and on the web, and RenewAmerica.com, expanding the influence of America's grassroots in the cause of freedom.
States reject Obamacare. Obamacare has been labeled unconstitutional in a federal appellate court in a move that deals a serious blow to the Obama administration that could be the first of many. A three-judge panel in the 11th District of the U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals, based in Atlanta, Georgia, is ruling Obama's health care plan unconstitutional for requiring all Americans to purchase health care. The Obama administration has 90 days to figure out if they will call upon the full appeals court to review the ruling or take their case to the Supreme Court. The introduction of Obamacare would force all health care providers to cover sterilization and contraceptives. You can read the full story on our resource page by clicking the link right over here. And in another serious blow to the administration's health care plan, Obamacare funding abstinence. Florida's Department of Health is funding abstinence education programs using cash from Obama's national health care plan. Governor Rick Scott and the state legislature have accepted a grant worth $2.5 million per year, funding 13 grants for abstinence education. LifeSiteNews.com reports Planned Parenthood is objecting to the funding because they claim that teaching children between the ages of 9 and 18 to abstain from sex before marriage is a waste of time and money. Students for Life Communications Director Jackie Anderson says, quote, "It's clear that President Obama's plan to reform health care is unconstitutional, and I'm glad Florida has taken a stand on what we know is a huge threat to women's health, the preborn, and people across the country who would be subjected to these changes," end quote. Florida is a lead plaintiff in a lawsuit supporting the state's right to defund Obamacare. Documenting Heresy. A new documentary will soon air based on an excommunicated woman who claims to have been ordained a Catholic priest. The film shows Janice Sevre-Dushenska, who claims to have been ordained a Catholic priest in 2008, even though the Catholic Church does not have the authority to ordain women as priests. Janice, who belongs to an organization that calls itself, quote, Roman Catholic Women Priests, says, quote, "We are not interested in hierarchy, which could be one of the reasons why our brothers at the Vatican feel threatened," end quote. The documentary will be screened for the first time tomorrow at Unitarian Universalist Church in Lexington, Kentucky. You can read the full story on our resource page by clicking the link right outside the screen. I'm Matthew McAuliffe. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure and tune in tomorrow for your daily dose of Catholic News Roundup right here on RealCatholicTV.com. And be sure to check out The Vortex today, where Michael talks about how the very stones of Catholic Spain cry out in defense of the faith. And to close the show, Mike is here with more of what we can expect from his coverage of World Youth Day. Mike, what's coming up tomorrow?
Just a quick reminder to check out our NoBullinMadrid.com website, where you'll find our full coverage of news, Vortex, and our World Youth Day special reports each day. Today's topic, the Reconquista, the reconquering of Catholic Spain from the Muslim warlords. God bless you, and see you tomorrow here from Madrid.